Hi, everybody. Many thanks for joining me. I want to say welcome to this edition of the live Q&A session with the University of South Dakota. Today promises to be another beautiful edition. This session seeks to provide you most of the resource. The questions that you've been asking. We're going to try to tackle everything that you have been asking from the beginning to the very end, be it maybe admissions requirement, everything you need to know about the University of South Dakota. We'll be taking it from the opportunities that are here for you to explore, and then we'll be getting into the technicalities, what you need to get to the University of South Dakota. My name is Chris Soga. Many thanks once again for joining me. If this is your first time, maybe you just jumped on this session, I want to say thank you. And then, of course, consider hitting that subscribe button so that in case we post any other new video, you are notified about it. And then also remember that it is a Q&A session, right? Which means that every question that you have, just consider by putting it in the comment section, maybe like a chat form or whatever it is, and then the resource personnel or the people I have here today, they're going to help you answer every question. But I want to know from you at this beginning point, right? Where are you currently in this whole admission process? Is it about trying to get to the website to know what the admissions requirements are for your particular program? Maybe you're trying to send email to any faculty member. What are you thinking of? Are you thinking of basically to get a scholarship before you apply, or to get any funding opportunity before you apply? I want to just know where you are. Have you paid your service fee? Have you scheduled a visa interview? Have you sent an email to the international office notifying them that, hey, you're going to be here this day, or this is your anticipated visa interview date? Have you done any of those things already? If not, or if you're doing that, please just put it up in the comment section, and then we will seek to address everything. Once again, my name is Chris Soga. So I'm going to bring my first guest on the show today. From the Opportunity Center. This is one of the beautiful souls that the University of South Dakota is blessed to have. Why am I saying that? This is not just about a hearsay. This is something that personally I have experienced. I've been to her office. I'm sure by now she's tired of me, but of course she cannot be tired of me, because I've been to her office several several times, just taking students to her that, hey, Melissa, this and that, and then she's been able to be of great help to me. So she will be the very first person that I'm going to bring on my show today, and we'll be talking about the opportunities you as a prospective student, when you get to the University of South Dakota, the opportunities that will be available for you to explore. The most important part of it is that how can you do it? Because you may know of something, but how to explore it, that is the wisdom for you. And then that is what we're going to share with you today. Many thanks for coming on. I'm going to bring my first guest, and then we'll get to this beautiful conversation. All right. Are we ready? With a round of applause. Snap. I bring all of them on board for you to see. So I have Matty Colbert from the Gallagher International Center. And then also I have the lady known as Melissa Tapke. Guys, how are you doing? I want to hear from you. How are you guys doing?
We're doing so well. Today, I'm coming to you from the University of South Dakota's Sioux Falls campus. Our main office is on the Vermilion campus. I'll tell you more about that once we get into this discussion.
Very soon. Matthew, how are you doing?
Doing well. Thank you very much. We are very happy to be here today. Stay tuned. There's a lot of good things on today's info session. We'll hear from Melissa, who has some fantastic things to talk about while you're here at USD. And then I'll kind of guide you all through the process of what getting here might look like and some additional opportunities. So looking forward to it.
Perfect. Sounds great. So that is the man who is having, I don't know, should I say you guys are trying to give him heart attack right now, because granted admissions and everything is on this man's head together. Supported by Alice Deffenberg. Guys, kudos to you, team. All right. So I'm going to start with Melissa Tapke. This woman, she has had the opportunity to visit the best country in the entire world. I'm talking about Ghana. She was there, and also she was able to visit Liberia, right? And then she enjoyed all the beautiful food. Particularly, whenever I ask her that, what is your beautiful food, or she would tell me that it's wache. She eats wache almost every morning while staying in Ghana. So I'm going to have her just talk about some of the things that you guys can explore. Melissa, once again, I want to say thank you. So just introduce yourself, what your office, the Opportunity Center, what you do here, or maybe, basically serving both current and prospective students. I just want to talk about your mission, your scope of operation. That's to help these our viewers today.
Yes, absolutely. Kwaba, if you're from Ghana. My tree is not very good anymore, so please
You spot your tree.
Oh my God. And I lived in Covarrubias, and then I lived in Tamale, and my Dagbani is so bad. So if you're coming from the north, I'm sorry, but welcome. And I also, like McCray said, spent a couple years in Liberia. So very familiar with West Africa, and very excited I see a lot of West African students on this thing. So I work for the USD Opportunity Center. Our office is here to connect students to resources on campus. And that's everything from academic resources, maybe like tutoring or improving your study skills, time management, these things. Going to university is a big change from high school or secondary school, and it's takes some adjustment. So here to help you adjust academically or connect you to the resources on campus for that. Personally as well, there is so much opportunity on USD's campus to be involved, to make friends, to build community, to bring your culture to South Dakota, and also learn about South Dakota Midwestern American culture as well. We participate with quite a few student organizations and support their work on campus. McCray has been really involved, so he can tell you his experiences with different student organizations on campus. But really, when we say there's a place for you at USD, we really mean that. Cultural organizations, professional organizations, our business school has some professional fraternities that they offer. There's literally something for everyone. And if you haven't been to the USD Involved page, maybe that is a different conversation, but USD Involved is a great way to see some of the different activities going on the campus in Vermilion. There's student org things, there's life skill development things, there's mental health support, there's wellness resources on there. And a lot of those are driven by our students. There's a lot of opportunity for leadership. So connecting students to resources on campus and in the community of Vermilion is a big thing that we do. We also run several campus-wide leadership programs. And while our programs are primarily for undergraduate students, there are some opportunities, some more formal leadership opportunities for graduate students on USD's campus. We also, I know finding a job on campus is a big question that a lot of students have. And that process is, you have to be patient and persistent with your search for that. And we are here to kind of help guide you in some of those, connect you with the career centers. There's a couple different opportunities for that on USD's campus. McCray can certainly tell you about his experience finding a graduate assistant program. And those, it's not easy. You're not automatically given any of those things, but there is opportunity for that through some hard work, building some relationships with folks on campus. And that is what we are here to help you transition to college, to embrace all that USD has to offer, to connect with community, to really claim your coyote experience and become a part of our community.
That sounds beautiful. So you help in helping students to adjust academically, connecting them to student resources, both on campus and also in the community, Vermilion community, right? And many other things you do also regarding, job applications and stuff like that. So that means that would your office be that first go-to office when a student arrives and maybe I don't know how to explore, I don't know who to probably get to and all that? Would your office be that kind of office here at the USD?
Yes, we like to say we are your first stop for student success, and that means a lot of different things for different students, but we welcome everybody and we want to help you get plugged into our USD community And USD has done, like I said, a really great job of developing resources for students, and we want you to use them. 99% of resources on campus are free for students to use. You're paying to be at USD, like you have to pay your tuition, certainly, but 99% of the resources are free to students. We want students to use them. We want you to be successful while you're here at USD, and we are here to connect you to those resources.
That's good. So Melissa, before I just let you go, one quick question that students they've been asking me that, we tell them that go to Coyote Careers, go and apply for some on-campus jobs over there. What kind of jobs do you think international students, I know you serve both the domestic and then the international community, right? But what kind of jobs do you think I am qualified for as an international prospective student or current student? Because there are a lot of criteria over there, right? Because we have work study, we got I don't know whether if you are qualified. I may have some idea, but I want you to share it with them.
Sure. So
work study and all that. Which one are we qualified for?
So Coyote Careers is the hub for on-campus employment opportunities. Most on-campus jobs will be posted there. There are a lot of jobs that are labeled work study, and that aligns with federal work study, which is a designation or an award that some students get with their federal application for student aid. That is really only open to domestic students because they are really the only ones who are able to apply for the FAFSA. So if you see a job that is labeled work study, that is usually referring to that specific designation of students, something that comes in your financial aid package and is generally not available to international students. However, there are part-time jobs and there are hourly jobs, and sometimes graduate assistantships, if you're a graduate student, will be posted on USD Involved. There are different times of the year where applying for, more jobs will be open. Certainly in the late summer, so, maybe July, early August, there will be more jobs available than there are in January and February. And really that's because, students graduate, people are rehiring for the new academic year. A lot more things happen kind of in that fall term and are more settled. If you're coming in the spring, it will be a little more challenging to find a job right away, but that gives you an opportunity to meet other students who are working on campus, learn how they, learn about their experiences, work with our career services to perfect your resume, work on your interview skills. Those things are different in an American context sometimes. And being able to communicate clearly and effectively is important. And we have professionals on campus who can help you with those things. So that's a great time to do that, and keep your eyes out on Coyote Careers for on-campus job opportunities. And, as international students, you certainly, the international office provides some resources for that. Eventually, you'll get into being able to use your CPT once you graduate your OPT. I'm not going to speak too much about that because those are certainly not my areas of expertise. However, working with the international office on the requirements surrounding that are important as well.
Melissa, I want to say thank you so much, but I just want to take maybe 10 seconds, share something, some word of encouragement to any student who is just watching, because with my private conversations with some of them, they are kind of, let me put it like, at the verge of giving up, just because some of the details or information they need or resources that they need to just proceed, they don't necessarily have it hand, like that. So also based on where some of them are located, I was speaking to somebody who says that he didn't even know that there is a term called like what fall is, what spring is, what winter is. They just don't have any idea, and so they are there. They are just there like that, right? So what kind of, let me say, hope or word of encouragement can you share, maybe in 10 seconds, to any prospective student who is watching us right now?
I think maybe two pieces of advice that I have is be patient and persistent. So, there are a lot of students who are applying for I-20s, for application. It will take time to process those, so be patient on that. I know getting a visa interview can sometimes be a long process. Be a good communicator. Communicate what your situation is with relevant people. Be patient when they say, hey, it's going to be a couple months until we're able to process this or to get to you. I know that can be a long and complicated process. But if this is something that you really want to do, you really want to come study in the United States, use that time to, build up your savings, to really look at what the cost of coming to school is here, because that's important. You have to pay for higher education. Maybe I won't talk too much about scholarships, but we do occasionally have a few things, but they're very, very limited. So, be prepared financially. Be patient with the application process, because that will take time. There's a lot of paperwork that goes into things, but it's all manageable. And there are people here, Matthew will talk a little bit more about the admissions process and really what the timeline of that looks like, but it will take time. It's not quick and easy. It's very different than applying for, University of Ghana or Liberia or whatever, the university in your home country is. It's going to take more time because you're doing a big thing. You're doing a really courageous thing that is also a little bit unknown and scary. And that's okay. Be open to the process. Absorb all the information that you can. Feel free to reach out to other people. We have a really great system on our admissions website called Unibuddy that connects you with students who are currently experiencing life at USD. Ask them questions. That resource is there. Some of our peer success coaches are on there. They're great about that. One of them is an international student as well, and he's graduating in May, but can really talk to what their experiences are at USD. Too much information is never a bad thing. So just be persistent, be patient.
Thank you so much. Just be patient, and also don't forget to be persistent about it. If you want it, it's a goal for you. You got to put it there. You got to make it happen. So, Melissa, I want to say thank you, Midase Akpenao, because I know you understand some of this. Because, guys, the reason why the team decided to have Melissa on board, because I've seen how helpful she has been, and then particularly also about her office. It's been so much. I can't count right now the number of students who came to me for help, but I had to hold their hand and take them to Melissa. Then, Melissa, this is a little bit beyond me. Can you help this student for me also? And Melissa has never said no, to my best of knowledge, to any student that she can help in her ability. Melissa, we want to say thank you so much. University of South Dakota is blessed to have you. Thank you so much for coming, Melissa. We'll let you go now. Thank you, Melissa. All right, guys. We want to say thank you once again to Melissa, who just left us. It's been a wonderful time, right? Talking about things that her office they can help you do. And so right now it's going to be the ball is going to be the court of the man himself, called Matthew Colbert, who happens to be the assistant director at the Gallagher International Center. Matthew, we're going to start with the questions and answers at this point. So I want our listeners or viewers to pay attention. We're going to adopt two hashtags because these are the questions that we're going to be picking, right? The first hashtag is GoYote. I'm going to display it here for you to see, right? These are the two hashtags. So use either of them. I have my name on there as a hashtag, and I also have GoYote. So this is the main slogan for the University of South Dakota. This is just going to help us to ensure that you guys are paying attention. So use any of the hashtags, and then I'm going to see that and pick up any of your questions. So we'll go with the first one. Matthew, how are we getting prepared for the fall 2025? A general overview, and I'll start picking the questions for you, please.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you for having me on, and I'm excited to talk to you and those who are listening. So for fall 2025, fall is our largest admission term. So this is when we will welcome the vast majority of students to USD. Now we do have another intake, which is spring, which is actually has just commenced very recently. But in a large part, fall is our most densely populated intake, and that's for a variety of reasons. So it's a very busy but exciting time here at USD as we help students get through the procedures of admission and hopefully actualize their dreams of attending school here. Now, it's a very good time to be thinking about USD. Time, especially for international students, will always be your friend. If you are up against the time crunch, it will make your process much more difficult and maybe put barriers up to actualizing your dreams. So being proactive in this game is going to always help you, allowing more time for the admission process, allowing more time for the visa process, which many of you know can be timely. So I would say that we're excited. We are actively working with all students who are going through the admission process and just reminding them that proactiveness will always be the best bet to hopefully get them here and on their way to their dreams.
Thank you so much. I believe that the team, we had the Spring 2025 orientation just this, is it past Saturday? That was it, right?
That's correct.
I believe it was great. And then we are getting towards for the prospective students who are still coming in for the fall 2025. We can't wait to have you here in Vermilion and to be part of this great Coyote family. So we'll get to the questions, right, Matthew? God help us to answer everything. And I believe that after this session, the pressure on you a little bit is going to reduce because we're going to try to answer almost all of them, right? Okay.
I don't expect to have a voice by the end of the webinar.
More grace to you. All right. So I got the first question here from Fortune Asante. And then she is asking that, can an admitted student from the previous academic year be considered for funding after deferring? What can you say about that, Matthew?
Yeah, well, that's a good question. Well, note that there's always a difference between undergraduate and graduate students. I'm going to take this in the idea that it's a graduate level student, but please, Fortune, correct me if I'm wrong. Basically, we do have a deferment procedure for those who could not attend their originally intended term for whatever reason. And if they are approved to defer, the big key piece of information that you need to hear is, when did you defer and from what term to which term? So USD considers what are called admission cycles. These admission cycles run from the fall until the spring. Well, summer is also included, but international students are not able to come during summer. So for the sake of international, basically from fall to spring. If you defer within the same admission cycle, so if you defer from fall to spring, then your application, for example, the graduate assistantship application, remains valid. But you defer from spring to fall, you are now entering a different admission cycle, meaning you may have to resubmit your graduate assistantship application. Now, don't hear it from me. All of this information is very carefully detailed on the graduate assistantship page, as well as in the rules and regulations guide, which is linked on the page. So if you're not sure about your personal situation, look into the resources available. The rules and regulations will define what you need to do far better than I could. So hopefully that's helpful.
Okay, so that means that a student cannot defer to summer just because we don't have summer intake.
You're exactly correct. There's a lot of limitations due to F1 visa regulations regarding summer intake. And I do want to clarify, McRae, sometimes students get a little bit confused between summer term and fall term. The fall term begins in August, which is in the summer. So I understand why it can be a little confusing. But for the sake of clarity, summer term defines a very small term in between the spring and next fall, where some current students or domestic students may be taking some coursework. But for the sake of international students, they are only eligible to attend or enroll in the university during the fall or spring semester. So please be mindful of that.
Okay, because I have a student who sent me an email that she's been able to defer to summer at USD. Would you suggest that I have that student send you an email again just to clarify that? Because I know we don't do summer intake. I've never seen summer intake at USD. So when she says that, I said, please hold on. Either you get back to Matthew to correct that, or if anything, I'll probably just reach out to Matthew just to clarify that, because I don't know of any summer intake at the University of South Dakota.
Again, that might just be a terminology thing. It's quite possible that the student may be referring to summer as August, which might indeed be the fall term. So it could just be a terminology thing. In very, 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 very rare cases, there may be a specific program or situation in which that might be actually a thing. But again, in the overwhelming majority, 99.9%, summer as a term is not a valid term for students to be in their program.
Thank you. We have a lot of comments coming in. Guys, I want to know which comments or questions to pick. So use the hashtags, hashtag Mekere Sugar and also hashtag GoYotes. Please do that. I have lots of comments over here. Aisha says that I have completed my application and awaiting decisions. Application just ended yesterday for my program. Okay. Matthew has been very, very helpful and he replies when I email him. Matthew, you deserve a coffee from Aisha. Thank you.
Not necessarily. I mean, that's my job. That's why I'm here.
That's why you're there. Yeah.
I appreciate the kind words. I mean, I appreciate that. And I think Mekere can attest to this as previously working in our office.
Yeah.
We really do work nearly around the clock, and we are simply outnumbered. Our team is outnumbered compared to the many students who apply. Living a day in my shoes, you might gain some insight into what that looks like, and I'm not saying that to seek pity. It's a pleasure to serve you all, but I'm happy that the service that I have provided has been helpful. And for those who are awaiting responses from me or my team, just patience goes a really long way. As I said, we're fighting a battle outnumbered, but that doesn't mean that we are not dedicated to making sure every single student gets their inquiries answered. So patience is appreciated and praise is always appreciated too. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Matthew Colbert. Okay, so the next question, also still from Aisha, says that what does a provisional admission mean, and under which conditions will a candidate receive a provisional admissions? Matthew, can you help us explain these technicalities?
Absolutely. So basically, put simply, provisional admission is a power reserved to the academic departments who are reviewing your application for admission. And it is reserved for cases in which a student may not meet one or more admission requirements, but the department or the review committee determines that this student has the great potential to be successful. So an example might be, maybe you did your bachelor's 10 years ago, you were kind of a young kid, it didn't go really the way you wanted, your GPA was a bit under the recommended requirement, but you've worked as a banker in your country for 10 years and you want to do a finance program. The department might say, you know what, given the holistic review of the application, we think the student could be very successful. But to kind of ensure that, generally, if a student is offered provisional admission, this is a reserved right of the department, and it does not have to be used. This is used in I would say, a minimal amount of cases when the student is deserving. But generally, on top of their admission, they will be given a set of provisions to meet. So, look, we believe you'll be successful, but we have to put these expectations in place to assure that. So it really depends on the program and the department and the student. But for example, they might require you to maintain a certain GPA your first semester. They might require you to take a foundational course. So it really does depend on the individual department and student. But in summary, departments do have the authority to provisionally admit students who may not meet one or more admission requirements if there's something more to their application that gives the department the idea that they would like the student and that they believe they would be successful.
Thank you so much, Matthew. So the next question here says that, Mekere, please ask what's the update on the issuance of I-24 for 2024? We passed that, right?
I'm assuming they mean fall
2025.
So here's the deal. I-20 issuance is something that a lot of students ask about. Few things about it. Firstly, you should know that not every individual in our office is authorized to create I-20s. They have to be what's called a designated school official, DS. That means that they are authorized by the US government to issue these forms. I myself am not a DSO, so no matter how many I-20 emails I get, even if I wanted to, I can't help you. That being said, that automatically reduces the number of our staff who are able to create them, which naturally, if there's a large volume, means it will take longer to issue those I-20s. Plus, a certain level of attention and detail needs to be involved in those. So it's not as simple as hitting a button. They have to make sure that what they're issuing is legitimate and correct. So that's one thing. Secondly, there are different variables. It's a very dynamic field, and there are different priorities that come across our office. So, for example, we are required to register all of our students in the federal immigration system under a very specific timeline, and that happens around the start of each semester. It's actually happening now. So the DSO team who is again in charge of issuing I-20s, is also expected to have this very, very, very critical task performed and completed by that deadline. So in summary, I-20 issuance, we give a very, very rough estimation of around 7 to 10 business days. That can absolutely change depending on variables surrounding our office. Rest assured, as soon as your file is next, and as long as everything is good to go, we will issue it. Keep in mind as well, we work on a first in, first out system. So our DSO team looks, whoever submitted their documents and is ready, we work in the queue. But patience is appreciated. This is a very dynamic field, and again, with the limitation of who can create I-20s, it limits. We're just one person, two people. It limits our ability to issue I-20s in any manner quicker than what we've detailed.
Well, I want them to also understand when we're talking about 15 or 10 to 15 business days. It means days that means that weekend is not part, right? And then Christmas holidays or any other holiday is not part. So it's run under the U.S. government. So when the U.S. is experiencing public holiday too, don't be in your home country thinking that it is not a holiday over there, and then maybe you expect that Matthew should be in office by now. Please, Matthew is an American. He's run by the protocols, regulations. He's governed by the American government here. So I want you guys to please understand it, because I receive a lot of emails. I'm like, okay, the office is not in session. They're on break. Oh, okay. All this pressure and all that coming. So
I want to add, McRae, for example, you brought up a really nice point about the business days and the general operation of, honestly, most organizations in the United States. Most organizations run Monday through Friday, 8 to 5 as a general rule of thumb. That can change. For example, I'll get students who will email me a document potentially on Friday at 4:30 p.m., right? Our office leaves at 5, right? Then Saturday and Sunday go, and then Monday comes around, and about 8:30 in the morning they say, "Hey, I sent you my document 3 days ago." Well, in the consideration of business days, you sent me your document about an hour ago, in the realm of the business hours and business days. So keep that in consideration. That is the general, and that's not just for USD. That is a pretty universally adopted working schedule for most public institutions, for different companies in the United States. So again, adapting to how things go here can be beneficial to your cause.
Thank you so much, Matthew. So another question we have here, I would like to know the contingencies needed for the I-20 issuance, because I sent my bank statement and financial eligibility, I believe that's what the person wanted to say, form, but still not gotten a response if my document is complete. Matthew.
Sure. So in summary, you ought to listen to your assigned enrollment coordinator to determine what actually is required of you, because it's not a uniform set of instructions. Different students might have different requirements. Now, you're right about the financial ability document, the bank documents or supplemental financial documents. That should be theoretically the same for all students. But for example, on your admission letter, you may have been admitted off of unofficial documents. Unofficial documents mean you as the student uploaded them yourself to the application system. In order to solidify your admission and turn it from a contingent admission to a full admission, you must have your official institution send us those items. So on your admission letter, page 2, you will clearly see outlined what documents we're in need of. And in my follow-ups and my colleagues, we detail the methods of submission. So in order to be placed into the queue for an I-20 here at USD, you have to have all contingency documents fulfilled, which means whatever is indicated on page 2 of your admission letter. You must have submitted the financial ability form and the financial documents that are supplemental to your financial ability form. You asked why I've not gotten a response. We do not have the capacity to respond to every student when they have sent us something. We cannot confirm the receipt of something. If I did that for my job, I would have to triple my hours. We don't have that ability. In general, we generally work off of the premise that submit something, we will reach out if there's something missing. And we have some additional communication strategies that target students who are indeed missing something. So we have some automated journeys that will inform students, hey, we haven't received your financial documents, or hey, you still have admission contingencies to fulfill. So keep that in mind. But in terms of getting a response for the submission of documents, logistically, it's not feasible for us to do that for every student. So be patient. If additional documents are required, we would inform you about that.
Thank you so much, Matthew. So the next question I have, this is from Timotokpe Joseph. I believe he's from Nigeria. And so the question says that, hello, Mr. Mercury. Please help me ask Mr. Matthew if I can be given a provisional admission after which I will be providing my evaluated transcript. I am having financial challenges. Please help. Matthew, what do you have to tell Timotokpe?
So I'm going to address this in a broad manner. USD does not automatically require a NACES or NACES, as I say, third-party evaluation. You might be familiar with World Education Services, WES, or ECE, SpanTran. We do not automatically require these evaluations. And in many cases, our internal team can do these transcript evaluations in-house. We try to do that for the benefit of the student. And that's a service that we try to offer to benefit you as a student. That being said, we have our limitations, and we are not an expert in every country around the world, every university, every degree type. And if a determination is made that we cannot evaluate your transcript in-house, we reserve the right as an institution to say, look, your application cannot move forward until we see an evaluation from an approved organization, which we list on our website.
That means that it is not required automatically. The moment you start your application, it is not required.
It is not automatically required. Now, there's a few things that may make it more or less likely to be required. I mean, if you have a very, very, very complicated academic history, if you are educated in multiple countries and doing all sorts of unique degree types, you might have the idea that that might be more likely. Truthfully, we cannot evaluate that beforehand. We have to receive your application, and once your application is complete, it's routed to our evaluation team, and that's where we make that determination. Now, if you have been mandated to provide an evaluation by our team, you cannot advance through the admission process until we have it. So we're saying, look, we cannot move your application forward because we cannot complete this evaluation. So to answer the question, if you are mandated to receive an evaluation and submit it, your application cannot progress for review. You cannot be considered for admission. You know, if you have not applied and you're not sure generally, if you submit your application, the determination would be made whether we can do it in-house or not. But if you're mandated to, your application is at a standstill until we get the requested item.
So Matthew, there were a couple of times I even asked you in person that this student just sent me an email that, hey, Mercury, I am asked to submit the evaluated transcript. This isn't after the fact that the team reached out that, hey, as we were observing your document, we realized that, I mean, there are a couple of things we don't understand, right? But this is just at the time that this prospective student is trying to apply. And it's like, this student cannot even bypass this submission or whatever it is. What can you say? As a student probably done something at the early stages, and that is necessitating the system to forcefully require this evaluated transcript from the student, because I didn't submit it. So I don't know why the student currently, they are going through that. Would you want to clarify on that, please?
I mean, in general, like I said, there might be more situations that are, you know, okay, so at some points, we may need to get to the point where we've received all application materials. It goes into the review process, and there's something that requires, you know, we have experts on our campus, but there's something that says we cannot move forward. We need the evaluation. Now, on the front end, there are some things that our team have been identified to point out. And again, this is entirely dependent on situations. But for example, this will apply to many Nigerian students who have pursued a national diploma in addition to a higher national diploma. So the ND plus the HND. We get a lot of questions, you know, is that suitable? Generally speaking, we would require an evaluation for that sort of degree combination. We would not, our team would not equate that to a 4-year US bachelor's degree. So going into it, our team is prepared to say, oh, we see the HND, ND, there's no bachelor's or no higher education. We would know that this will be required of an eval, you know. So again, generally speaking, we identify the need for an eval when your application has been completed, all documents are present, and we have done a review of your documents. And for some reason, our in-house team has reached a barrier. There's something we are not certain of. There's something that, you know, requires us to get that professional evaluation. Again, as a summary, it's generally not required in my experience, but listen, we try to extend this as a complimentary service to you to try to prevent an evaluation from needing to be required. But there are times when our limitations apply, and we say, look, in order to give you the best shot, and it's not just for our needs, it may be in the best interest of a student to apply an evaluation to make sure the GPA calculation is indeed accurate, especially for some of those highly competitive programs, right? And lastly, what I'll say, McCrae, is just because we don't require one, we highly recommend it. And there's a lot of benefits to it. First of all, it will expedite your admission process. We don't have to wait in the queue to get the evaluation done. That might take a week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks. You won't have to, you know, deal with that process of, oh, we decided you need one. Now you need to wait for the West for a month. Now you're pushing yourself back. Lastly, the big advantages I was talking about, having to submit those official transcripts. If you submit an unofficial West report for your admission or another West, ECE, SpanTran, and you get admitted, rather than having to contact your universities back home and have them individually send the official transcript, if you have the West report sent officially from West to USD, that includes the transcript copies, we will consider them as official. So you sort of make a lot of things easier in the process. And it's pretty good to have a professional assessment of your credentials for whatever it is that you may do, whether you are pursuing your education or maybe future employment. It's nice to have a verifiable, professionally done evaluation. So we highly recommend it. It's not automatically required. We reserve the right to require it. That was a mouthful, but I hope we got there. I can't hear you, McCrae.
Can you hear me now?
No, I can.
My apologies. There is a diabolical issue I wanted us to talk about, right? So there is the understanding that when you do evaluation of transcript, it is set to probably try to boost your GPA a little bit, right? I've had some student who said to me that because they know the GPA intentional, it is low. And so they just try to do this evaluation. Hopefully it gets the GPA up for them like that. And then they just use the evaluated transcript rather to apply to these schools. I've had this one prospective student, and then he was like, he used the evaluated one, and the school reached out that, hey, no, we don't do this one. Just bring the original one, the one from your school and all that. What can you say about that briefly?
I mean, the whole idea that a professional evaluation would inflate your GPA is nonsense, I think. I would say that it is entirely dependent on the type of evaluation you receive and the expertise that's followed, right? This is not a black and white system. It's actually very colorful. There's so many things that need to be considered when you're conducting this GPA calculation, right? It takes true expertise. And so, you know, I could get an evaluation from Wes, and then I could get one from ECE, and there might be discrepancies. And that's not because one is wrong or one is right. It's based on the expertise and the discretion of the evaluator. So saying, oh, I want to get an evaluation because it will boost my GPA, you might be sadly mistaken. I would not say that that's inaccurate in any way. Is it possible that maybe the formulation of one evaluation agency to another changes and one might be higher? Yeah, it's possible, but that's not because they're inflating your GPA. That's because they are performing the most accurate calculation that they personally feel.
Thank you so much, Matthew. So the next question here says, I have submitted my document for issuance of I-20 for fall 2025. I used a support letter from Empower, but I have since not received the I-20. I submitted this document first week in December. Okay, Matthew, what do you think?
Well, a few things, right? Every student's situation is individual, so I'm not going to comment on you particularly, Albert, just because I don't know the details of your situation. Of course, sending an email can be a helpful reminder for us to have a look. But keep in mind, as McCrae was saying, so the month of December is jam-packed full of U.S. federal holidays. You know, there's a winter break that's happening, so obviously the campus resources are limited. Our office is still operational, but there's big extended breaks in this portion for holiday observance. Secondly, there's a lot of dynamic things happening at that time. For example, we are intaking our spring students. So keep in mind, I'm not just looking at the students who are looking for fall. I had to get the spring students here and orient them and all the inquiries. So again, since you submitted them in December, Again, that's a very, very busy time for many, many reasons. It's quite possible that you're in the queue and awaiting I-20 issuance. It's possible that maybe something's missing. So if you're concerned, you can always just send a polite email in and say, hey, look, I just wanted to make sure that everything looks good. And my team will answer you and make sure that you're on the right track. So that's what I would say about this particular question.
Thank you so much, Matthew. Another question here from Marvin Ban says, hello, Makuri and Matthew. After receiving my admission, how long does it take for the GA, that is graduate assistant application, to be processed? And when should I anticipate hearing from them? This is a popular question I get that, hey, I've applied. Yeah. I'm not getting anything. Either I've been approved or taken, or I've not been taken. Like, what's up?
Yeah, it's a really good question. And I'm going to talk about GA positions very generally and then dive into Marvin's question. So GA opportunities, graduate assistantship opportunities on the campus are limited and competitive and extremely competitive. And this is, they are very, very beneficial opportunities, but they are limited, and you are competing against not only other international students, not only incoming international students, but maybe current international students, domestic students, and incoming domestic students. So this is a highly competitive opportunity. So I want to make the record clear that these are very competitive. Not everyone will receive one. And that you have to be selected. Going into your question, how long does it take for the GA app to be processed? I would imagine very little time. I mean, it's the submission of a document. You know, it gets added to the pool of applicants, probably a couple of days, a week, or something. Right now, when should you anticipate hearing from them? This is a very, very good question, and I want to clarify. Once you have submitted your GA application, your application enters a pool of applicants. You can think of it, if we're talking about physical paper, we put your folder or your file onto the pile, it gets mixed in, and there's a big stack of files. Obviously, this is done electronically. Once your application has been submitted, any hiring department on the campus, not just your academic department, not just your program, any hiring unit on campus, that could be the library, that could be the business office, that could be anyone, right, who's in need of an assistant can access your GA application. At that time, if they take interest in your application specifically, they would contact you directly. Now, with that in mind, there is not a deadline in which you can expect to hear that you are offered or not. It's simply, if you are taken, if some unit on the campus takes interest in you, they will copy you or reach out to you directly. Again, timelines and criteria can also be very, very variable as well, because if I am hiring a PhD chemistry research assistant, I'm looking for somebody with a very vast chemistry experience and who's in the chemistry department, right? Versus if I'm a GA for the athletic department, maybe I want to see somebody who has experience working in that field, right? So when people ask me, what criteria do you look for? Well, that really depends on the job, right? Secondly, the hiring timeline can look a lot different too. Some departments might want to secure GAs very early in the process. Some might want to wait until the pool is larger and have a look, right? So in some, once you submitted that GA application, you need to remain an optimistic attitude, maintain hope, and wait till you're contacted. A really good idea is keeping a very close eye on your email. It would be a real shame if you weren't attentive to email and somebody reached out, you didn't see it, and then by the time you responded back, that position was filled, right? So at the end of the day, there's things you can do to try to give yourself the best opportunities, but they are very naturally competitive. And also, I will comment, naturally, students might want to reach out to different departments on campus and inquire about availabilities. We do not maintain a list of active and open positions. So if you ask me who's hiring, I have no idea. On Coyote Careers, that would give you some insight as to who's looking. But in general, we don't keep a pool. We don't keep an active list of hiring opportunities. So you're probably taking a lot of shots into the dark, right? You might be asking a particular department if they have an opening and they don't, right? And I would say, do you want to reach out? I would limit those communications to the graduate program coordinators.
Okay.
Every department has their own graduate program coordinators. If you fire off 1,000 emails, again, I think it might be a bit excessive, and it might actually take away from your cause, right? Because I've gotten emails 20 times from the same student, and I don't think it made things more.
It doesn't help anything.
And just knowing the nature of humans and faculty departments, they might be like, oh gosh, this is starting to be annoying, right? So I would say if you do want to go the extra mile and reach out, that's absolutely within your right. But I would be concise and I would be polite and just say, hey, look, I would love to introduce myself. I'd like, I'm interested in exploring opportunities. Please feel free to reach out to me. Here's my resume and contact details. Leave it there. I think that's the best way to approach it. But at the end of the day, because you don't know who's hiring, you are shooting in the dark a little bit about that. But I hope it clarifies the GA selection process and all of that.
So that means that there is no timeline that for a prospective student to expect, for example, how we know that I-20 probably 10 to 15 business days. But when it comes to graduate assistantship applications and stuff like that, there is no timeline. Like, let's say in 2 weeks' time, I'm expecting that either the graduate department or admissions department, they're going to reach out like, hey, you have not been selected, or you have been selected. There's nothing like that. So you just keep your hope alive whilst you wait for any department, any office, or any hiring unit to just reach out to you that, hey, we've seen your profile, we are interested in it. Can we set up a Zoom, for an interview, whatever it is? So I think that should settle it, right?
You're right. It's not like a deadline where you'll hear yes or no. It's either you were contacted or you weren't, right? Again, keep in mind, these are highly competitive. I want the record to be clear, but if you do receive one, there's some fantastic benefits. So hopefully you're lucky and qualified.
Spasiba, Matthew. So the next question says that this is from Dr. Doom. My God. Dr. Doom says that, do I apply for graduate assistantship after I get the admission, or I can apply while my admission is still pending? The decision is still pending. What do you think, Matthew?
It's a good question. So the criteria to even be eligible to apply for a graduate assistantship is that you have full admission to your program. Now, let me clarify that. If you are contingently fully admitted, that means you're fully admitted, but you have to submit those official documents. You're still eligible. But if you're provisionally admitted, you are not eligible to apply for a graduate assistantship until you have fulfilled whatever provision was assigned to you. So if they say you have to get a GPA of this or higher the first semester, you wouldn't be eligible to apply for an assistantship until you have gotten that GPA of the minimum and they have cleared you from your provision. So in general, here's the thing. You must be fully admitted for your file to be viewable by hiring units. Technically speaking, you can submit the graduate assistantship application before that, but no one will be able to see it. In my opinion, I think it's more appropriate to wait until you are admitted and then apply immediately after that. I don't see any value in submitting it early. It will not be viewable. And honestly, I think it's just, in my personal opinion, I think I would wait until you get your admission and go ahead and submit. That would be my professional advice.
So what about when I'm admitted, let's say, pending the contingencies, right? Maybe like waiting the official transcript from my undergraduate school. Can I still apply? I can still do that because at least I've been admitted, right?
That's correct. If you're fully admitted, but you have outstanding contingencies like those official transcripts or whatever it may be, you can. But note that USD very strictly enforces these transcripts and these contingencies. If you don't submit your contingencies by the deadline, I'm withdrawing your admission. I'm canceling your I-20. I don't care if you have a visa. I don't care if you have arrival plans. If you don't submit those by the deadline that clearly is indicated on your admission letter, you will have the consequences of I-20 cancellation, withdrawal of admission, because we've given you the convenience of applying with your unofficial documents, but in return, we expect you to provide those in the manner described. If you have, again, in rare cases, we are very hesitant for any extensions on that deadline. Most of you should have access to those documents. If there is a very, very credible and significant issue preventing that, you need to contact us immediately upon your admission. Let us know what's the problem. But in general, yes, you can apply while you haven't submitted those contingencies. But hey, if you forget about that and you get a GA offer and you get that I-20 and you get that visa, we're taking it all away. That's just how it is. And the best way to prevent that is to do those things in a timely manner, and you'll have no problems.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Matthew. So the next question I have here says that I have secured, this is from Florence, by the way, and then she says that I have secured a date for my interview in March and will like to know if I can get any funding before the day. I have submitted the GA application form, but no response yet.
Yeah,
Matthew?
in general, yes. If you haven't, let's say you are already issued an I-20, and from the point of your I-20 issuance until the point of your interview date, if you received a GA somewhere in the middle of that, you can request that the I-20 be updated to reflect the graduate assistantship on your I-20. Again, if that doesn't go the way you want, your initial I-20 and application should be viable and significant, right? If you don't get a GA ship and you said that you're going to finance yourself with an Empower loan or your personal funds, that better be how you intend. This is why I really, really want to highlight. You need to have a very strong financial plan, and that's for the visa interview. That's for your time at USD. This is for your sake as a student. You should have a plan A, a plan B, and a plan C. Relying on an assistantship is probably not the best approach, hoping that this happens.
Okay.
You need to have plan Bs and make sure, hey, I hope I get this assistantship. That would be a great opportunity. It would help out a lot. But if that doesn't happen, you need to have a well thought out financial plan if that doesn't work out the way you're hoping it does, right?
Yeah. All right. So thank you. So please, our subscribers and viewers, we have just in about 25 to 30 minutes, we're wrapping up everything. So we're also going to try to just keep our responses to you pretty short. We'll get to the specific questions so that we can try to attend to many more of you. All right. So Matthew, the next question here says that kindly inform Matthew that I have sent him an email with regards to my application. And this is from Johnson, by the way. And I'm waiting for my responses from him with regards to your application. I don't know. With application, what's up? Matthew?
I'll answer that. So we answer inquiries in the order they're received, and you just have to wait. Again, like I said, we're outnumbered. There's a lot more of you than there are of us. So expecting an instant reply or within 24 hours is just not realistic. I'll tell you that. We do our very best around the clock. I mean, McRae has confirmed this with his own eyes. We work diligently every single day to answer questions, to get your inquiries resolved as quickly as possible. But there's just logistical limitations to that. So if you've emailed us, no problem. Just be patient, await your response. If it's been like an extended amount of time, like where it starts to be a bit concerning, maybe just send a very polite follow-up. And I don't mean 2 days after. I mean, if it's been 2 weeks and there's still nothing, hey, maybe say, hey, just wanted to make sure, I just wanted to politely follow up, right? That might be a helpful reminder, right? So just acknowledging patience is key here. You know, this is just part of the business, right? It's a way.
It's so funny the way I like the way you're stressing on the word polite, because I was in the office one day and that's a kid said, hey, I'm saying a kid, sorry, a student sent you an email like, Matthew, I need my I-20 by next week. I'm like
Here's the thing, McRae, and it's comical to some extent. I don't really get personally offended, but your behavior and the way that you approach not only me, but my team, and just in general, you're about to enter a higher educational institution, and knowing how to navigate professional interactions is very important. And honestly, I'm a human being too. If you say, Matt, you don't answer me, where is my this? Do you think that will make me more likely to assist you in an urgent manner? Probably not. I'm just going to be like, wow, that's pretty rude. I mean, we do the best we can. I just a polite follow-up. And again, how will that impact, if you speak that way to others, how will that impact potential opportunities? I haven't heard back from GA, are you going to hire me or not, to a department? Do you think that they're going to say, oh, wow, you're right? No, they're probably going to say, oof, yikes. If that's the way they talk to me now, how are they going to talk to me as a GA? I'm not interested. Maintaining a professional atmosphere is, one, personally appreciated. I'm a human being. I appreciate when people are polite to me, but also it's acknowledging that we do work the best we can. We work tirelessly as a team, and there's just a wait time to this. It's just how it is. You cannot expect immediate, gratification. You cannot expect immediate attention. We work in first, out first, and it's out of respect to other students too. We cannot prioritize you over another student. That's not right. So patience and understanding is appreciated, and being professional goes a long way. It's personally appreciated, and it will prepare you to manage yourself in an academic environment.
Thank you so much. So if this is your first time you just jumped on this live Q&A with the University of South Dakota, which happens to be the flagship university of the state, please consider hitting that subscribe button so that in case we go live or we share some other insight that has to do with the University of South Dakota, or probably even sometimes some other universities too, you will be notified about it. So please consider supporting us. You also hit the subscribe button. Matthew will say that the subscribe button is here. Just click
up here, but since it's a live stream, I don't know. But usually I like to point. Maybe it's Sunday.
Yeah, thank you so much. So let's get to this one. It says, I would like to know whether whether without my school sending my official transcript to USD, I can't get my I-20 with just the financial ability form and bank statement. Matthew.
Nope. We require you to have all of your contingencies satisfied, and we require you to provide your financial documents. We've given you this convenience in the application process. We could require the official transcript up front, right? But we want to give you the convenience of allowing you to apply with your unofficial documents and student copies. But we expect on the return end that you get us to those. And no, we will not issue an I-20 without you having all your things in. And no, you can't progress.
Thank you so much. So this one says that kindly inform Matthew that I've sent him an okay.
I think we saw this, didn't we?
Yes. So this one says that do I apply for Dr. Doom, right? Oh,
we got Dr. Doom already.
Okay. Oh, they are going back. Okay, so this one says that okay, I love USD and soon we'll be there. Okay, yeah, good one.
I'll just say, we are so excited to welcome you. We just had our orientation this past weekend, and there's nothing that makes my job more rewarding than seeing a room full of students that I was able to assist and seeing your dreams come true. So I can't wait to meet you.
Thank you so much, Matthew. So Hayford here says that based on the curriculum for the MBA, it is to be completed in 1 year. How does it qualify for F1 status?
Well, I'm going to say this. Who told you it's 1 year? Unless it's your academic advisor who you have worked with and made sure that that's indeed your program of study, don't assume the course duration. That depends on a lot of factors. So once you're admitted, you will be assigned an academic advisor, particularly in the Beacom School of Business. They're excellent. You will have an advisor send you a program of study, indicating your length of program, indicating the courses you'll be expected to take. So again, any program that we are accepting international on-campus applications for have F1 authorization. If you have questions about a particular program, you can ask us, but something like MBA, computer science, all of these are approved. But don't assume course duration unless that has been communicated with you by your academic advisor. Yeah,
thank you so much. So this one says that if a program at USD, I believe that's what you want to say, the deadline
I will pause you, McCray. USD. This is a pet peeve. We're not the South Dakota University. We are the University of South Dakota, not to be confused with some other institutions in the state of South Dakota, which we refuse to mention on this platform.
Yes, we are correcting it all because of AVP. We have to correct it for AVP. So he says that if a program at USD deadline for international student is 1st May, and you have already applied and completed your application as an international student, can you get admission before that deadline? We're just going to keep it short. Matthew, what do you think?
Yeah, very good question. First of all, it depends if it's undergrad or grad. If it's undergrad, yes, the application deadline is just the date by which you must have your application in. It doesn't refer to the review time. Now, you need to be extremely careful at the graduate level, so master's and PhD. Just because on our international website, we say we have a final international application deadline of May 1st, it does not mean that a department has an earlier deadline, and it's quite common that they do. So if you have any questions about the deadline of your specific program, you can look in the academic catalog, or you can write my team at isrt@usd.edu, and we will tell you, because some programs have very early deadlines, they have priority deadlines and final deadlines, and they may be earlier than what the May 1st or March, whatever the deadline for international applications. That is just the absolute final general deadline, but other departments have earlier deadlines, so you should be mindful of that.
Thank you so much, Matthew. So this one from Hilton Boateng Kari says that how long does it take for admission decision after submitting your application with the payment of, he had to specify the amount for us, bucks.
which I will note is far cheaper than many other universities.
I agree with you.
So I'll give you a quick analogy, right? So you might ask yourself, if I go to the grocery store and I collect all of the items I want and I bring them to the register, how long is it going to take for them to process my transaction? Well, that depends on a few things. Do you have all the items that you actually need? Secondly, do you have your wallet in your hand, or do you have your wallet somewhere in your car and you have to run out and get it and come back and then you have to check it's the right card? So what I'm trying to say is, if you apply and we have absolutely every item we need, it has to go through an initial processing. We have to look at the application and make sure that we indeed have all the items we need. Once we have all the items we need, you go into that evaluation queue where our team will conduct an in-house evaluation, unless we can't and would require the WES or ECE. Following that, different departments have different review timelines. If you're applying to a program with a priority deadline and a final deadline, it's pretty possible that they might wait until after that priority deadline to start reviewing batch decisions. If it's something like an MBA, 1 to 3 weeks. If it's computer science, maybe 2 to 4 weeks. Following the email you will receive from UST that says your application has been forwarded to the department. There's no action needed. From that point at which you are communicated that your application is in review, as an estimation, it's around 1 to 3 weeks, 2 to 4 weeks. It can depend, but that's an estimation. So keep that in mind. That's simply an estimation.
Thank you so much. So that happens to be an estimation. This one coming in from Ofori Mausi, and then she says that thanks for this opportunity, McRae. I mailed. Do you mean email or mailed? Oh, okay. But let me just go with it. I mailed Sir Matthew, but I am not still done. I'm at the last step to submit, which some documents were asked and I provided, but I am unable to submit. Okay, please, try to come a bit clearer on your question, right? Let's know which stage you are, and then what the problem is, all right, so that we can try to help you. Okay, so Aisha says thanks. Okay, so Ebenezer Kofi says that could you please let me know how long it takes for one to receive I-20? Okay, I think we spoke about that, right? Maybe 10 to 15 business days. However, it depends on certain things.
Yes.
Great. Thank you so much. Florence says thank you. Let's say Hayford again says that based on the wow. I think when they see that we don't talk about their question, they send it again.
This is an example of patience. McRae will get your question. No need to send it multiple times.
Okay. I think we've spoken about this one too, right? Okay, so Timmy Toko again says that McRae, can I be considered for provisional admission at the University of South Dakota with just my unofficial transcript? I can't afford an evaluation right now. Matthew, what is the straight answer?
We answered this already.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Abednego says that I submitted my personal bank statement and a loan letter from Empower, but when my I-20 came, it was only the 10-month estimated amount which was stated on my I-20, right? I want to know why, Matthew.
Yes. As an institution, our DSO team, no matter if you show me 24,768, which is the minimum required for a grad level student, or you show me 24,768,000, we list minimum required amount on the I-20. So if you have an Empower loan for $40,000, we're only going to show $24,768. We do that with every single student, and it's a principle of our office. Now, that is your obligation then at the interview to explain. As you can see, I've demonstrated my financial ability through the use of the Empower loan. My I-20 shows that it satisfies the minimum required amount, but you should know that this was approved for $40,000. So, that's your obligation to explain during your interview. But from the perspective of our office, we will only show the minimum required amount. We do that with every single student we issue an I-20 for.
Thank you so much. So I have a couple of so Charlo says thank you. Purity now says the McRae doing the most great work. So thank you. I appreciate that. Kojo Asimaning says that McRae, God sent you to my God. God sent you to USD for a reason. Keep up the good work. I believe so too. And Francis says that, can I write to the departmental head of a department to see if I can be a best fit before going ahead to apply? Or I just go ahead and apply? Matthew, what do you have to say shortly about this?
For like the 99% of programs, this is not required, nor will it probably, if you have any questions about the program or something, you can feel free. But in general, seeking departmental approval or securing a supervisor or something, this is extremely rare for most programs. The only programs that might require this are high-level PhD, highly competitive programs. But overwhelming majority, no, you don't need to seek guidance or approval to apply. You just need to apply. But you should read the application requirements of your specific program to make sure that it is indeed not a requirement. But 99% no.
It's not required. Okay, so Robert Mashdeku says that, are there prerequisites like statistics or programming for your programs? For example, does the Master of Science in Artificial Intelligence program require statistics or math? Even if not mentioned? Matthew, what do you say?
Good question. Most of the time, it would be indicated in the admission requirements. For example, I think MS Business Analytics makes mention to a statistics and calculus course in their admission requirements. So if they don't see that, maybe they'd be wondering what the case is. Not for all programs, but I don't know, if you want to do MS AI, but you studied philosophy, maybe the department might provisionally admit you and say, look, you don't have a background in this. We think you ought to take some fundamental courses or something. That's the authority and discretion of the department. But generally speaking, it would state in the admission requirements what's expected prior to application.
Thank you so much. So Temitope again from Nigeria saying that go Yotes. Thank you very much, Mr. McRae, for addressing my questions. That actually Matthew helped me out. I really appreciate it. I just hope USD overlooks what I am lacking and give me an admission. I would love to meet you. Thank you, Mr. Matthew. I don't know, what are you lacking? I don't know what that is.
I would say in general that USD is an open access institution. We like to give opportunities to as many students as we can. Obviously, at the graduate level, it's a bit more competitive. These are highly selective, highly specific programs. But in general, I think USD would love to award opportunities to whoever we can.
Yeah.
But graduate level, this is you're receiving specialist degrees, so they are looking for the best of the best.
So Ferdinand Tutorials, I believe this student is from Nigeria, right? So he says that I applied for a PhD in basic biomedical sciences, just received a mail not an hour ago about my application being submitted to the department. Okay, so kudos to that. Let's fingers crossed. All right, wait for something good
about my application. Okay, sorry, I was misreading it. Yep, congratulations.
Yes. Okay, so Prosper says that what is the highest funding an undergrad receive? Matthew.
So it's very important to separate. Graduate assistantships are only available for graduate students, master's, PhD. At the undergrad level, if you are a first-time freshman, meaning you are attending university for the very first time, you are considered for 2 scholarships at the undergraduate level. One is based on your GPA, and one is based on if you provide an ACT or SAT exam result. The absolute maximum that you could receive if you have, let's say, a 4.0 GPA, flawless grades, and you also have an outstanding SAT or ACT score, is roughly comparable to about a 50% tuition scholarship. So I think the tuition for international undergraduate students is around $13,000. So at the very, very, very maximum, it would be roughly equivalent to about a half of that tuition. Not total cost, tuition cost. It's about a 50% tuition scholarship.
But that is actually good news. Almost 50%. That is, you don't need any sort of practical knowledge, right? If your academic things is good, like over the 4.0, your GPA is good, and your SAT, the grades are so good, you can present a case. And you can get something, right?
I want to speak about this for those of you who are not sold on USD or you're considering your options, which is absolutely normal. Sometimes I'll get a student, and it's humorous to me. They'll say, "Well, Matthew, I got a $25,000 scholarship from this other university, and you're only giving me $4,000 or whatever the case." I'll tell them, "What's the total cost of that university?" "Well, it's $50,000." So if you get $25,000 scholarship, but the cost is
It's almost the same.
you're paying $25,000 at the end of the day. Versus us, maybe you get offered $3,000. Our whole tuition for 1 year is around 13, so that's almost like a 20-30% scholarship. So really consider not just the value of the scholarship, but how it fits into the total cost you'll end up paying. Because for most cases that I receive, they're still going to end up paying more than if they went to USD.
All right, so this question again from Ferdinand says that, is there anything to do while waiting for the decisions, like mailing a prospective supervisor about my graduate application?
Again, I won't tell you that you cannot reach out to people at the university. That's your right. But I would say, like, again, if you're going to do that, you need to be strategic and minimal. If you want to send a polite introduction, sure. But I would say, like, imagine how many emails these faculty members get, and just try to be strategic. I wouldn't email every professor at USD. I would be strategic, and if nothing more, just to introduce yourself. If it's up to the faculty if they want to respond or work with you or not. I mean, they might not reply to you. That's a possibility. But I don't think there's any harm in introducing yourself, but just be considerate of their time and their inboxes as well.
Thank you so much. So Marvin Ban says, hello, Matthew, kindly comment on the tuition deposit requirement, also with the immunization process. What you say about that? Thanks. I want you to come clear. If you are talking about international enrollment deposit, let us know, because I know that we don't have anything like tuition deposit. Pay something before you come, right?
McRae, I'll clarify this if it's all right. USD does not have a tuition deposit in the sense that it's traditionally defined. If you are admitted, you will have some post-acceptance procedures, like obviously going through the visa process, obviously getting your immunizations. We require a set of immunizations to be done. We would inform you about that on your admission. There's clear guidance on the checklist and the immunization form. USD is very, very, very strict on immunization requirements. If you do not meet them by the deadline, they're going to unenroll you from your classes and send you home. And that's the reality. Again, that doesn't happen very often. Most students get them done, but it's not one of those things where it's like, whatever, maybe they won't notice. No, they're going to notice, and it's not going to be a polite reminder. They're going to say, you're out of your classes, and then you're invited to your visa. Tuition deposit, the international enrollment deposit is a $300 deposit. That is a prepayment of your I-20 or your international student fee costs. So that is usually $150 per semester. That can change. You're basically prepaying that to commit to USD. You're letting us know, look, I will be coming. And once you arrive to USD, that $300 will be applied to your bill to cover those international student fees for the first 2 semesters. Now, people might be asking, well, what if I haven't had my visa interview? Is it refundable? It is not refundable. And we clearly detail this in multiple places. That being said, we understand that you might be hesitant to pay your deposit before your visa interview, and we would encourage you not to do so. So we have a deadline that is set for each term of when the international enrollment deposit is due by. If your visa appointment falls after that date, if you provide us the right materials, which we would tell you, you can receive an extension of 3 days following your visa interview to pay the deposit. That way you know the outcome of your visa. But this all relies on communication. If you don't tell us anything and you just are ghosting us, we're going to, cancel your I-20. We're going to assume you're not interested, right? But if you look, I know the deadline for the enrollment deposit is on the 1st of whatever date. I have my appointment on the 3rd. We would, assuming you provide us the right things, usually it's the CVIS payment, usually it's a few other things. We'll give you 3 days following your interview to pay your deposit so you know the outcome of your visa. We're not trying to make you pay more. We're not trying to trick you. This is just a way for us to know that we have you intending to come. And like I said, it's not an additional fee. It gets applied to your student bill. So you're not paying anything extra. It's just a prepayment of sorts.
Thank you so much, Matthew. So I have, Robert has repeated his questions. I mean, talking about the prerequisite for the Master of Science in Artificial Intelligence so much. So I'm saying, bro.
They can reach ISRT at usd.edu for guidance.
Yeah. But then again, too, if you're a first time here, please consider subscribing to the channel, as I've been talking about that. And so another question from Hilton says, hi, McRae, could you please ask Sir Matthew that can some department give GA position to student when the admission decision is made? Matthew.
Great question. I would say that the amount of departments who award GA-ships at the time of admission is minimal. There are absolutely departments who will, at the time of admission, possibly award you an assistantship. So that would be clearly indicated on your admission letter, or very soon after you might receive a communication from the department. I would say this is probably more common at the PhD or very competitive programs. I would say the vast majority utilize the GA application, but it is possible, and some departments do award assistantships at the time of admission. Most of the time, the highly competitive, very specific programs like PhDs or things like that. So it's less common, but it can happen.
Matthew, a quick question to you. This is from me. Do we offer application fee waiver?
At the graduate level, we do not. There's not any way, form, or condition that I can offer you one. So I hear a lot of tragic stories or different situations, and please, I want to make clear, I'm a sympathetic person. I don't want it to feel like I am cold or not understanding. I do not have that ability. I don't. There's no way to. The fee is very low compared to other universities. We tried to set that to offset the fact that we cannot waive the application fee. At the undergrad level, if they apply through the Common App, there is an option to waive the fee. If they apply through the Common application, if they apply through our own application, they cannot waive the fee and they must pay.
Okay, thank you so much for that clarification. Hilton again says a follow-up question: does the accountancy department give GA position when sending out the admin? Okay, I think we just clarified something.
I'm not an expert on every department. I would assume no. That's a master's level program, and it's a very popular program. My assumption would be not.
Okay, all right. So Dr. Doom again says USD to the world. We're coming for 2025. Matthew Colbert, can't wait to see you. I'll be bringing you Nigerians to. Hey,
one, I love the sound of that.
Do you like spicy food? You don't like spicy food, so what
I love spicy food, but I don't necessarily handle it well. My face looks like McVay's shirt at the end. But, I will, Dr. Doom. I am both grateful for your comment, but I'm also disappointed. We are not the CAYOTE. We are Coyotes. COYOTES. Coyotes.
Coyote. Okay. So Hayford here saying that sorry for the misinformation earlier, but my student dashboard shows my MBA program from fall 2025 ends in December 2026. Okay. He's just trying to clarify where he got his thing from. Okay, so patience.
Seek departmental guidance from your academic advisor on that, please.
Okay, so Patience says that I recently wanted to apply to USD because I just discovered my career. Hey, wow, his passion for USD. However, the deadline for my fall 2025 program has passed. Really? I can I reach out to my coordinator? Matthew, really? Do we have any of the deadline being passed for 2025?
There are some limited departments that have very early deadlines. Patients, I would recommend just reach out and inquire to make sure that's indeed the case. If it is, then unfortunately there's not much we can do. These deadlines exist for a reason. But if you're not 100% certain, please reach out and we can confirm that. If that's the case, no worries. If you want to adjust, I mean, some programs offer multiple intakes, so spring and fall. Some only offer fall. So it just depends. But feel free to write us and we can give you some guidance on maybe how to make your dream a reality.
Thank you. So Abednego say thank you so much, Makri and Matthew. Really appreciate. Another one here saying that are there internship opportunities for MBA with specialization in artificial intelligence for business analytics? I think with the career fairs and things like that, when you attend, you have the opportunity to.
I want to clarify that, again, as an F1 visa student, you have a lot of limitations as to what you can do. You're on a student visa, and things like internships might fall under what is deemed employment. And so you do need to seek the appropriate guidance from our team here. We have a team of international student advisors whose job is to make sure you're following your F1 visa regulations. If you are approved under something like CPT and you are awarded an internship, we do have students from the business school or other departments who have done internships. That is a possibility, but it is after going through the appropriate channels to make sure you are in alignment with your visa. If you violate your visa, that can have extreme immigration concerns. So in general,
So Stephen Ochoa says that I was admitted to the Doctor of Curriculum and Instruction for fall 2025. I want to know the options for scholarship and waiting to hear about GA or research assistant positions.
In general, scholarships are not very common at the graduate level. I would say 99% of departments don't offer scholarships. Graduate assistantships are the most popular way of funding assistance. There might be a rare case in which a department does have some small scholarship. You can feel free to inquire with your department about that. But I think I've talked about GA positions in
you have. Thank you so much, Matthew. So the room finder, this is Frederick. He's saying that I've applied for human resource management and I'm still waiting for my decision. Any reasons for the delay? Okay, I think I know this Prosperity because he mentioned to me somewhere late November about his application. What do you have to say about that, Matthew?
Well, like I said, make sure that you've indeed received communication that your application has been sent to the department. If you know that you've received that email, then your application is under review and you just have to await the outcome, right? If you haven't received that, maybe just double check and make sure that your application is indeed at the department. But again, as we said, 1 to 3 weeks, 2 to 4 weeks is an estimation. It's entirely an estimation. And if you're a part of a program that has a batch review system, then you might not get your application reviewed until that point. So again, patience is key. As long as you have not been required to submit additional details, as long as you have received acknowledgement that your app is with the department, no action is needed and your patience is appreciated.
Okay, in 5 minutes, we are wrapping up, guys. So this person says that how long does it take? Okay, and then Hilton says that God bless you, McCray and Matthew, for availing yourself for this amazing session to elaborate more on USD opportunities. We shall meet in fall 2025. Matthew, I'm sure these people are going to bombard you 2025.
Hey, that's a pleasure.
Because Ghanaians alone last service that were about 27, 28. That was a record breaking. And Patrick was telling me that when they're counting the top 5 student enrollment now at USD, Ghanaians, we've earned a position. We've earned a number over there. So I don't know what's going to happen.
We'd love to have you all. We look forward. Hopefully we can meet Hilton. It'd be a pleasure to welcome you to USD. All of you.
Okay, great. So Marvin says that, hello, Matthew, please can I apply to 2 or more programs at USD? I know yes, but
there's limitations to this, but generally, yes, if they're completely different programs, you can submit more than one application. You cannot apply to the same program more than once. Per admission cycle, I should clarify that. Again, yes, you do have to pay the application fee twice. That's something to consider. We can't just reuse things. You have to formally reapply again. But if they're 2 completely different programs, then yes, you can submit 2 applications. But the time will come if you get admitted to both. You need to choose one. You can't pursue both. So you need to let us know what you intend to go forward with.
Last 2 questions, then we are done. So Fortuna Sandy says that, McCray, please, how do one go about the payment of service fee? Also, what do you do if your advisor does not respond to emails? Matthew, just share a brief.
When you're admitted, we have a checklist of all next steps on our website, including visa application guidelines. We clearly tell you how to pay your CBIS fee, the conditions for that. And advisors, again, same principle applies. If you contacted them during the winter break, classes weren't in session. They probably weren't working. Just being patient. And again, if it's been a considerable amount of time and a reasonable amount of time, no problem in sending a polite and gentle follow-up. Again, there's plenty of time from now until course registration must be finalized. So again, be patient. I'm sure they'll get in touch with you and just be persistent.
Thank you. Then again, too, I just want to add that if you happen to be a prospective student for USD and you need some assistance with visa preparation or mock interview, yes, that happens for prospective students. So just reach out to Matthew, and then you're going to have the link to schedule your date. All right.
Who are admitted and have a visa interview upcoming.
Yes. So not just like, I want to go to USD, but you've not been admitted. Yet still, you don't even have a visa interview date. An estimator or something like that. Please, you can't get it. Otherwise, you'll be wasting our time. I'm sorry. Can I use Empower to apply for I-20? Yes, you can. Oh my God. Yes, last one. Mr. McCray, please, I received my I-20 for spring 2025, but I couldn't secure an earlier date, so I deferred to fall. So please, do I need to send my document again for a new I-20?
That's at the discretion of the DSO team. Generally, that might not be required, but we have absolutely every right to require updated financial documents if we deem necessary. So again, we're starting to issue fall 25 I-20s. If you've deferred, you have to be patient. But yes, generally, we might not require them, but we reserve the right to require updated financials if we feel it's necessary.
Okay, this is the last question to you, and then we are done. We just wrap it up over there because it's getting so much overwhelming. This one says that the PhD biological science has SUI tuition scholarship, right? And is there assistantship aside the scholarship? I think you get what the students are saying.
I understand.
Yeah, it's on the GA, but one sort of
Mohammed, you may be. I don't know if you're mistaken, but generally that 63% number is generally used to describe the reduced rate of tuition that graduate students receive who are under assistantship. So if you have an assistantship, they should give you a reduced rate of tuition, which can be relatively comparable to around 63% discount from the original international tuition cost. Alongside the reduced rate of tuition, students are awarded a stipend as well. So the two benefits of an assistantship are the reduced rate of tuition and the stipend, which is like a paycheck monthly. And the value of that depends on the specific offer.
Matthew, thank you so much. In just 1 minute, your last words to your beautiful and handsome, potential, prospective student. Please encourage them. And then you can also let them know why you think these people need to come and see you in person. Why these people need to come and shake your hands, as you happen to be the first official at UST that shook my hand. I remember at the Bear House.
I raised McRae from youth almost. I raised him throughout his time at USD. I remember when he was just a little guy.
He's like my school father those days.
Yeah, I feel that way sometimes.
He calls me grandpa. I don't know why.
So what I would say to students who are considering USD, maybe just considering studying in the United States, University of South Dakota is the most affordable flagship university for non-residents in the United States. So if affordability is a concern of yours, there's no better place to look than USD. Not only do you think of like the affordability, you have to consider the value. USD's value is also, I believe, unmatched. You are a part of a very small community. You will get to know people extremely closely and close-knit. You don't have to fight for the attention of your professors. You don't need to fight for opportunities as you would if you get dropped in the middle of New York City. Our affordability, our safety, our community, all of these things make USD a really attractive choice. And I'm so thankful to McRae for being so vocal with his experience. McRae was at one point in your shoes and probably showed up to South Dakota thinking, what have I gotten myself into? There's snow on the ground, it's cold. And you know what? I think, and I don't want to speak for him, but I think that USD has been critical for McRae's growth. He has done everything under the sun here at USD. He's attended events. He's worked as a GA. He's, I would say there's very little people on campus who don't know McRae is who he is. So I think the influence and the impact you can make at USD is extremely beneficial. And I think the other thing is the safety and the convenience. We are a very small community. You can walk to your classes. You can walk to shops. We do a lot to make sure your experience here is comfortable. So we have over 200 undergrad programs, over 80 graduate programs. There is a place for you here at USD. And I always ended off by saying the little quote that I think gets me excited about USD. There is no better place to be than USD. So thank you to McRae. Thank you for you all for joining in. Reach out. We're happy to help.
Spasiba, the man known as Matthew Colbert. He is a blessed man. He is versatile. This man, there is a reason why Patrick says you should be the assistant director of the Gallagher International Center. And I've seen how smart you were, how eloquent you were, and how your love for this international community. The recent one that you did when we started this fellowship, African fellowship. And listen, we wanted to feel some vibe from home when we are doing our fellowship, right? I mean, worship and praise and stuff like that. Matthew one day just came with snacks. Like, guys, I just want to support you guys. So this guy just came and blessed us with snacks. And I remember after the fellowship, we all went there and dined together, and it was good. So Matthew, on behalf of the entire prospective students, my subscribers, yours, I mean, the followers of USD, everybody, want to say Spasiba. Akwenau. I'm teaching you some. Say Akwenau.
Akwenau. Hopefully I said something appropriate. Tell me in the comments if McCray is being foolish
Anyways, guys, coming up also.
Hey everyone, it is Shanice Hall, soon to be Dr. Hall. You don't want to miss this upcoming video. It's going to be featuring me and McCray. We're going to be talking about life as a student athlete and also some of the tips and tricks that you can do to land yourself a full athletic scholarship. You don't want to miss it. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Make sure that your post notification is on so you're notified on when the video drops.
One coming up, we're talking about athletic sports. Many of you have passion for sports. You want to run, you want to throw some stuff and whatever it is. USD has something better for you. Other schools also here, they have something better for you. So keep your dials locked on here at I was going to say 91.1 FM, but no. Okay, man, I got to let you go. Thank you so much for your time, and
Cheers.
I'll see you on the other side. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye. All right, so guys, want to say thank you so much for joining this wonderful live Q&A session. I want to say thank you to the Opportunity Center, that is Melissa, and also Matthew Colbert. I want to say thank you to you and the entire team. Regards to everybody at the Gallagher International Center currently. And then I want to say, guys, thank you. Thank you for staying on. I still have a lot of people who are still on here. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Thank you, guys. So, but if this is your first time, please don't leave without hitting the subscribe button. It is very, very necessary. It is important so that when I post, or the team we post any other new video, informative video, you are notified about it. You don't have to wait for YouTube to recommend the video to you, right? So I want to say thank you so much. Consider sharing the link. If you have any question, you can come back and rewatch this whole live session, and I'm sure that you're going to be informed about a lot of things. Let me know which school you want me to bring aboard. We'll reach out to them and get them out to come and speak with me as we try to answer most of your questions, your doubts, whatever that is preventing you from making your next move. All right, so guys, I want to say thank you so much. My name is McCray Sogam, and of course I want to see you here in the United States of America, also just like me, trying to further your education in any program of study of your choice. If anything that you need, you can also book a time with me, and we can have some one-on-one session, whatever it is, and then I would also try to be a blessing to you. My name is McCray Sogam. I'll see you on the other side. Take care of yourself. Bye-bye.
The two bags I brought today.